I know exactly what you're thinking. Why in the world would I travel to Milwaukee for a tennis lesson? Well, the answer is for 2-day coaching experiences like these.
Yes, it is worth coming across the world for.
Corrections here were like months worth of lessons and clinics.
I don't care what it takes, just get here. You won't regret it.
I really feel like this might sound crazy, but I've accomplished more in the last 7.5 hours, and there's still another 2.5 hours than almost an entire year of taking conventional lessons.
This is like 50 times the value that you get versus any other ones I have seen.
Those are just a few of the VIP students that we've had travel across the country and the world to spend 2 days with us on the court, transforming their games. What makes instruction with us different? I'll let them tell you in their own words.
I gotta tell you, it was one of the most amazing experiences because the 2-day immersion, like all you do is just practice and you perfect a specific stroke until you get it. And previously when you would do a 1-hour lesson here and 1-hour lesson there, you don't really get that. That's not enough time for muscle memory. And so these 2 days has been absolutely amazing. I am playing so different. I think this type of experience, and I keep calling it an immersion because it absolutely is. It's like you surround yourself with the amazing energy. All of the coaches here, all of you guys are just so fun and happy and encouraging. So having 2 solid days, many hours, and just having that immersion into this experience really causes change very, very, very fast.
I love this process. It was simple. There was just 1 or 2 things that I need to work on for each backhand, forehand, etc. So it was just like the fact that it's just simple and just very clear. I think a lot of times coaches tell you to fix something that's just a symptom versus getting to the root cause of the problem. So on my forehand, for example, they would tell you to turn, or they would tell you not to use your arm as much, but that wasn't fixing the problem, right? The problem was I wasn't turning my core, right, in order to have my arm follow, right, and not use my arm so heavily. I think that's the big difference. Like, instead of telling me to change a symptom, telling me exactly what the problem is, and then I feel like everything else will kind of follow, or it'll maybe fix itself, or if it doesn't, then it'll be easier to fix.
So for me, not to use the word lightly, but it's a priceless process because it has the ability to shortcut, condense, focus and target that improvement process. I think what makes the effort worth it to come so far is I know that Essential Tennis will cut to the chase and identify for me what opportunities present their biggest return on investment for my game in a short period of time. You could go and spend a week at a camp in Australia and really be no further advanced than when you first went there. But coming here, I full well expected that I would go home with discrete things to work on that would help that improvement process and help that elevation of my game. It's a short period of time, it's an intense period of time, but the outcomes at the end, lost for words, gobsmacked.
Sounds amazing, but is it worth the big price tag? Here's what our students have had to say.
I really feel like this might sound crazy, but I've accomplished more in the last 7.5 hours, and there's still another 2.5 hours than almost an entire year of taking conventional lessons, which sounds crazy, but I really feel like it's that effective.
Corrections here were like months worth of lessons and clinics, of which, a private lesson $70 an hour. You do that once to twice a week when you're a kid, every month. Then you got the $120 clinics for the weeks, like easily probably worth 10 to 12 grand of what I probably spent learning tennis as a kid, like growing up, And the speed, is unmatched as far as the progress seen, And having the idea of having an action plan afterwards to follow on your own, I think it's well worth it, at least triple the value you pay.
I think you should charge double. I told you yesterday you should double your prices because it's worth every single penny. I think that everything that we've learned in 2 days would have taken me a couple of years to learn back at home if I did clinics and hour lessons here and there. I really think that the 2 days here is absolutely worth a year or two at home.
It's not cheap, but it's worth every penny. It's all of you guys, all of the professionals on the court with you, the camera work, and I mean, you just can't get that anywhere else that I know of. And that's what makes this process that Essential Tennis does so unique, I think. And I just feel like Ian has nailed it on how to help people. I just want people to know it's worth it.
I guess the bottom line is yes, it is worth coming across the world for. That's from my perspective, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it, would I? So I've now been given a new set of tools that I can go away and use, and I can go away and continue to develop. I don't see the same opportunity in Australia, and that's truthful. Having a 1 hour session with your local club pro, it would take you a year to even get close to what you can achieve in a short period of time while you're here. So return on investment is high.
What's included in this VIP coaching package? Well, in short, everything you need to completely transform your entire game while experiencing an unforgettable trip. From the moment that you land at General Mitchell International Airport to the second that we drop you back off 2 or 3 days later, we'll take care of absolutely every detail to make sure that your experience is as perfect as possible. After we pick you up, we will take you to downtown Milwaukee, where you'll check into one of the most exclusive hotels in the city. After a little bit of time to relax, we will go out to dinner for a team dinner, and that means all the pros will be there. We'll get to know you a little bit more closely, ask you some questions about your goals or aspirations, and get a little bit more well-rounded picture of what you're looking to accomplish. After a restful night's sleep, we'll pick you up at the hotel and go together right to the courts, where we'll get down to business working on your game. We'll begin with a full game analysis where all the coaches will take a look at your forehand, backhand, volleys, overhead serve, and then choose the most important stroke to start with first and go step by step through the process of breaking it down and completely changing it into a fundamentally better stroke. Then we'll move on to the next stroke, so on and so forth until we get to the end of day one, at which point we'll go out for another team dinner, drop you back off at the hotel so that you can rest and recover for day two. The end of day two is literally just the beginning of your game's transformation, because we'll send you home with a step-by-step, extremely detailed and customized action plan that's tailored to exactly what you need to do back at home to continue cementing those changes in as new habits. That'll include every single drill, progression, explanation that we use while we were together on the courts, so that you can look back, see exactly what to do on the court, and we'll define exactly how long to spend on each drill. You'll also, within a couple weeks of your experience, receive a film of your entire time on the courts in full HD quality, so that you can relive it, relearn from the experience from a different perspective over and over for the rest of your tennis career. If you've made it this far, you're probably ready to jump right in, but in case you haven't made up your mind yet, here's a couple quick messages from your fellow students.
Just do it. I don't care what it takes, just get here. You won't regret it. Because when you leave here, you'll feel totally different about your tennis game. And that's what I'm most excited about. It's just feeling great about it. I know where I need to go. I know what I need to work on. It's just get here. It doesn't happen until you get here. I don't care how many videos you watch at home, you won't get the full experience until you actually get the feeling down and then working with someone and them showing you specifically. So get here.
I would say if you're serious about your game and evolving your game, then I don't even think you should think about it twice. Just do it. I mean, you're already spending a ton of money on lessons. every week, twice a week, 3 times a week sometimes. And so I don't see any reason not to come. I mean, do you want your game to get better now or later, right? I mean,
I would like encourage them to go ahead and try it out at least one time to see it, because for me, personally, it's a pretty big item, big revelation, and lot of eye opener. It will definitely change your game. There is no doubt about it in my mind. I will do it again next year.
You know, do it. You know, talk to your family, talk to your spouse, talk to your employer, and treat yourself. You know, just treat yourself, and there'll really be no regret. There's just no way you don't come out of this getting your investment in it, whether or not, you know, that's time or money or whatever sacrifice you need to make to get here. It comes back full-fold.
I would totally say do it. It was amazing. I wish I did this earlier, because I feel like I have all these habits that I need to undo now, and it seems harder. And I was a little bit hesitant about coming in so early as a 3.0, 3.5 player, but I'm completely glad that I did it, because now I know what is the correct way to move forward, and so instead of keep doing things incorrectly and having to fix it, like I know exactly what I need to do. So I think it's a great idea. I think everyone should do this.
They must do it. I mean, it's almost like you must do it, because if you don't do it, you know, you could just go to 100 tennis camps and, you know, even many lessons, just that hour a week is not going to do it. This is a different approach and a, you know, immensely better approach. And you have spent, you know, all that money on your tennis outfits and your tennis balls and your tennis rackets. But this is just, you know, I don't want to say investment, but it's really, truly a great investment.
Secure your VIP spot now by clicking the button down below and submitting your deposit. We'll be in touch soon to finalize your dates, your travel itinerary, and also be in touch about your initial goals. We're all super excited to partner with you on your journey of tennis improvement.
I've told you guys you need to increase your prices, because not only do you get 2 days of instruction, but you get 3 coaches, camera person, editing, video editing, something that you can always have and refer to. But there's also the coolest, hippest hotel ever that's located in this really neat, hip area. Meals are included, transport, I mean, you've driven me everywhere. It's like a vacation. This isn't not just tennis lessons. This was a truly tennis vacation that we took. So absolutely worth every penny.
You need a diagnostic the way this is. And it's very concentrated. I mean, you may have a diagnosis over time, slowly, your forehand, your backhand, your serve, your volley. But it would take years. But here, in a concentrated, very organized, systematic, tried and true way, you know, these 4 pros help you see strengths, weaknesses, what to work on. And, you know, I almost thought last night, oh, I wish it were longer, but in the end, 2 days is perfect because you're getting so much information. I saw other people improve, obviously, in the VIP sessions that I'd watched, and I just thought, well, you know, obviously I'm not going to improve that much, even for the camera. But I did.
Every hour there was an aha moment. Almost on every stroke there was something aha about it. So again, going back to what I was envisioning doing versus what I was actually doing was an aha moment for me. Well, if you're really serious about improving your game, this is an invaluable experience.
Well, yeah, I mean, Ian and his whole team are very fun and positive and passionate about what they do, and so it kind of, you know, like by osmosis, kind of you know, get that same feeling, and it's good to know there's people out there that share my enthusiasm and passion for teaching the same level I have for learning. You know, it seems like it's not just about the money, you know, that's just, it's the passion, right? And so it was great to be able to spend quality time even outside the court, so you can ask some of the questions that you always want to ask about whatever it is, the size of a grip, or the way you hold the racket, or something mental, or, you know, any sort of, you know, when you're driving to and from the court or having a nice dinner, which we were able to have, or lunch, you can ask those questions that you always want to ask, you know, and get the answers that you're looking for.
But the full attention of your entire group is on making me better, you know, taking what I am without judgment, taking it apart, showing me where I can do better, and it's just me. You know, it's not a group of 20 people, it's not even a group of 2 people, it's just me. So there's no other definition than immersion, you know, and it's 2 full days of it.
Or you just break everything down to, I mean, you simplify it. I mean, it's almost like, oh man, I feel like such a little baby out here, but I know I need it, and then you just progress. And I don't ever see anybody do that. I don't see that in Savannah with the pros there, or when I was in Michigan. You've got magic here. Hang on to it.
The way that I can explain the takeaway is that I believe that a new set of doors has now been opened for me to walk through and to continue development. It wasn't a case of coming over here and saying, well, here's the answer. It was a case of coming over here, identifying where those doors were and showing me how to go through them if I choose to follow the training and the process and development of those opportunities.
There's a lot that goes into getting a ball over the net. And what's clear to me is I'm only aware of a small fraction, if that, at any given time, let alone being able to sort of break it down into little tiny steps. And one of the things that I got out of working with you guys is not only full focus on that, but an expert eyes view on where I needed help, basically. Whether or not it was tweaking or full-fledged breaking down and redeveloping, just taking it step by step by step is a real professional attribute of the Essential Tennis Group.
The best part of it is the video analysis, being able to show me right now, here's what you just did. I have obviously no awareness on court of what it looks like. I think it's far worse than it is, or I think it's far better than it is, you know, and you guys pausing and stopping and saying, here's what you just did, you know, even if it didn't feel right, you know, to you, here's what it looked like, and it was actually kind of an eye-opener.
The way they, with no ball, just shadow swings, and then the whole process working up, you know, at the net all the way back, and then gradually working it with a ball, and then finally getting back to the baseline or where I needed to be to hit the ball. And it just seemed so easy, and I had more power and more control than I have ever had. It was like magic, though. I said that and I meant it. It's just very surprising, really. You know, you think, well, how's this going to help? But it really ingrained it in my brain and my body, and how to physically use the proper technique to hit the appropriate, you know, shot of whatever we were working on. I can't emphasize enough how important that process was and how it worked for me. When I came here, I felt like I had reached my limit on what the improvement on all my strokes, and now I feel like I can keep going and improving, and that's probably the most exciting part. You know, I know how to improve and how to practice on improving, and yeah, so I think it's just going to make a huge difference in the fun of playing tennis again.